This DeAndre Hopkins news has gotten more interesting than I have ever thought to believe. It's just to a point now with the new news that is out. DeAndre Hopkins has been released by the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this release just brought the Eagles' interest and DeAndre Hopkins' interest to the Eagles to a whole new level now. So the game has changed, and I'm going to find out if the Eagles are ready to play.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, man. And by the way, first I want to say, if my mic sounds like crap, please let me know, because I'm working on some new stuff with the computer and all that stuff. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now. So I'm kind of like testing stuff. So yeah. But the important news as of right now that we found out. So DeAndre Hopkins has been released by the Cardinals. That organization is a joke. Players just want to leave at this point, especially because, you know, the biggest loser is there as the head coach right now. DeAndre Hopkins has been down a really rough road because he really deserves a lot more. Okay, Texans hasn't really, obviously with a great career with the Texans, and then, trading him to the Cardinals for a bag of chips, really, and he's had some good times there, but obviously they haven't reached their goal. DeAndre Hopkins deserves a ring and deserves to be on a team that's going to the playoffs, and I think that's what he wants. Okay, now when you look at the numbers for DeAndre Hopkins, you look at obviously, like the trade that didn't go down, I'm surprised the release even happened, because they must have wanted a lot for him, which I don't blame them. They wanted, and they just wanted to wait. Maybe there was rumors that he was going to get released in time, and they finally pulled the trigger on it. So I'm actually like, you literally just released him and didn't try to get some type of value for him, which makes no sense. I don't know why. At least get something. If no one's interested, don't just release him for a player at his caliber right now. I mean, could still be one of the best receivers in the league, and just imagine him on a really good roster. Now, he was on the I Am Athlete podcast a few days ago, where we kind of got little snippets of like him talking about him not wanting to play with Kyler Murray, the type of quarterbacks he wanted to play with. He talked about, obviously, Josh Allen, he talked about Herbert, he talked about Jalen Hurts. And when he said Jalen Hurts' name, obviously, Jalen Hurts to him is a top 2 quarterback. And, talked about the type of quarterback you want to play for, mentality, guys want to play for him. I mean, I'm not going to explain all of that because I already explained that in another video, but really commended Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts getting so much more respect, which I really liked. He wants a stable front office. The 2 front offices, between Arizona to Houston, both front offices, don't know how to build a team. And that's just the main thing of it. The last 3 years for the Philadelphia Eagles, look what they have accomplished. The last 2 years, and then obviously adding this draft and seeing what they do this year, is going to be interesting. And they've obviously done a really good job the past couple years, between drafting, free agents, trades, you name it. And the Eagles, made it to the Super Bowl last year. Didn't win, but DeAndre Hopkins really needs to be on a good team right now. Now, do the Eagles need DeAndre Hopkins? No. But I think if you want to add somebody at this caliber, and if you're willing to take snaps away from Quez Watkins and that's what you want to do, then you put him in the slot. Because I'm not bringing him here to take snaps away from A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, you name it. I'm not doing it. His numbers, so he's technically would have still been on contract for 2 years. What was he getting paid? What, $19.45 million this year? Over $15 million in 24. Teams that were listed during the rumors of him getting traded at the time were obviously the Kansas City Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens, the Chargers, and obviously the Philadelphia Eagles. I mean, that pretty much, those were the rumors of teams. The Eagles were added in there, earlier. I don't know why. But realistically, I think when they look at the cap space of some of these teams, so if you want to look at the Baltimore Ravens, I don't think they'll have interest in Hopkins now, because they probably tried to trade for him and they wanted too much, so they signed Odell. It's making 13 to 15 this year. But between the Chargers, the Eagles have over $12 million each, $13 million in cap space, which is good. So DeAndre Hopkins would have to rework his deal, and obviously Howie Roseman is a master class at getting, reworking contracts where it's not going to hurt the cap or anything like that. So we're going to find out in the coming days what is going to transpire here. And how much interest do the Eagles actually have. And now, since Hopkins is a free agent, now he could sign. Now he can really do whatever he wants. He could talk to whatever team he wants. He's not controlled by Arizona for a trade or nothing. Now, since he's a free agent, that's it. Now, interesting enough, take this with a big grain of salt. Don't believe 100% of it, but there was some news sent to me on Twitter, and I know Twitter is Twitter at times, but there was news of a NFL-type channel. It's called Microphone. I'm not going to put their video up, obviously, because of copyright and stuff like that. I don't want to take content away from anybody or put their voices in the video. So, these NFL-type people that know background information on what's going on. When the news, and said in this video, when the news came out that DeAndre Hopkins was released, apparently DeAndre Hopkins was in Philadelphia having lunch. That was the rumor. I don't know if it was true, but obviously on a big platform like this, you kind of say, hey, you know what? Maybe they know a lot more than we do, but if somebody saw DeAndre Hopkins in Philadelphia having lunch, somebody would have took a picture. Somebody would have been there. Somebody would have at least seen him around, right? Unless it was a private setting or something where he wasn't seen. He was out of a car. He was in a building. I don't know. But this, was a little interesting too. So I'm not going to take this too much to account, but definitely if you guys haven't, the YouTube channel is there. Check out obviously that video at around where I have the video at right now on the red line where you can see skipping down the video a little bit, setting that he was having lunch in Philadelphia, which I'm kind of like, I don't know. I can't go too far to really believe that because I felt like somebody would have, if there was pictures out of him, like him and Howie Roseman have, then I would believe it a lot more. But this is kind of like, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to put too much into that. But DeAndre Hopkins, just in general, like I said, I don't think the Eagles really need him. But yeah, I think this team is going to have a rematch in the Super Bowl this year. I think they will be in that game. That's not me being cocky, conceited. That's just me having a lot of praise for this team going into this year. And I think with better coaching on top of a really good roster now, I think it's going to be even better. I think we'll play better defensively, and I think this offense will outperform again even better. Adding DeAndre Hopkins to that group is... it's game over. It's unless Brian Johnson fails. Okay, this is game over. It's already game over. The game is already over. But this will make you pause the game and rage quit again. Okay, this is that move. So it's really interesting. Like I said, they would have to redo his deal, and Hopkins had a lot of praise for Hurts, and praise for that front office was just in the Super Bowl. They look at that roster offensively. Like, I'm actually kind of excited to see if Hopkins' agent is going to reach out to the Eagles and say, hey, can we get some type of deal done? What type of role will he have? If Hopkins is looking to be the focal point of an offense, it's not going to happen because this offense runs through A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert, okay? He's as a number 3, he's probably not going to get the ball that much, okay? And that's something, as a wide receiver 3, that you just have to wait for that opportunity for the ball to get to you, and that's why last year with Quez, he didn't look good at times because there were times where where he was open or, he was running a route and slowed down. And, you always have to expect the ball at all those times as the wide receiver 3. That's why I think wide receiver 3 is probably one of the worst positions to play because you're the third option, really. Unless, they move an outside guy to inside or whatever the case may be with that. But with Hopkins, I think they can get a deal done. I think realistically it could happen. I just don't know how much interest the Eagles have. I'm hearing everything from DeAndre Hopkins' side, which is a lot better than just hearing from so even if the Eagles had interest, it doesn't mean that Hopkins would have signed. But I think the one team that could realistically sign him maybe could be KC at this point. I don't think Baltimore is going to sign him now because of OBJ. You have, I don't know. There are teams out there that need wide receivers, and I don't trust these receivers making decisions to go to these teams that they think they're going to be Super Bowl caliber, like Devontae Adams going to the Raiders. Oh, Derek Carr's better than Aaron Rodgers, and all those comments that he had. Like these receivers, like I don't know if they know like what are really good teams out there, and I think the more Jalen Hurts plays, the more attention he's getting from players wanting to play with him and dying to play with him. And, I think it was a resurgence of Jalen Hurts because he was downplayed really since he got out of college and would not make it in the NFL level. You know what I mean? And he proved everybody wrong. Obviously, he didn't win a ring, but it was a weak conference. I understand that. The schedule was up and down, some hard opponents and a lot of not fantastic opponents either. But there's always going to be an excuse for him. There's always going to be a set of eyes on him that are going to critique him. Obviously, for me, like I wasn't a fan of obviously Jalen Hurts, not the player, but the pick and where the pick was, and we were paying a quarterback at the time, so I didn't really get that whole gist of why they did it. But I guess there was a reason behind it. They must have knew a lot more than we didn't know. And look at these wide receivers and free agents that want to play with Jalen Hurts that badly. Hopkins could do some damage here. The problem right now is, do the Eagles really need him? Does Howie Roseman really think the Eagles need him? Do they want to take? I mean, really, you signed DeAndre Hopkins. Bye Quez. Well, Quez ain't going anywhere, but he's going to be a depth guy. I mean, that's really it, and that's fine. You know what I mean? He's on the last year of his contract right now, and what do you do with that? You know what I mean? Like if you're going to sit him, then I don't know. That's really up to them, but I don't see this happening unless DeAndre Hopkins approves to the Eagles that he will play in the slot the whole year. And that's really the only thing I can really say, to be honest, because other than that, I don't want snaps taken away from anybody else. It's a team that really is thriving. Right now, we are in the golden years of the Philadelphia Eagles because they're drafting well. We just have to tweak the coaching a little bit defensively, but I mean, sky's the limit. We've already reached the sky. We have to reach another ceiling because this team has so much more they could reach in the next few years, or more than that, the next decade. I could probably say that's how crazy and not crazy, but that's how I feel. I have a lot of pride in this team and where they're going. I'm very realistic about it, and getting a receiver like DeAndre Hopkins would definitely elevate. I think teams are afraid of the Eagles, but this right here, if they actually got something done, I mean, game over, man. It's more game over than ever. And that's all I got to say. So, other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. So that was the news on DeAndre Hopkins' situation right now, being released. Now could really do whatever he wants. I mean, obviously the team needs to, redo the contract, and the team has to want him to go to the team, but he's got more free will to do what he wants, and it's going to be exciting to see. I don't think he's taking the year off. I think he's going to play, so I'm not really worried about that. I just want to see if he'd actually go to the Cowboys, or maybe he was lying about certain things, or maybe he's just trying to get leverage for another team. I don't know. I'm actually excited to see like what happens, whether it's with the Philadelphia Eagles or not. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. If you guys enjoy the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video as well. It does help out the channel a lot. I can't talk today. It's 3:45 in the morning right now. So that's where we're at. So you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you guys on the next one. SHAKESQUAD up, follow us. Peace out, guys. Peace.